Question 16, I call on the Honourable Member for Middle, Mr Shimmins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'd like to ask the Chief Minister what progress he has made with implementing a Manx Border Force.
Call on the Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Council of Ministers agreed in principle in September that the different agencies involved in protecting the island's borders should come together as a single team to protect the island's borders, prevent crime and ensure effective revenue collection. This will be done in a phased way over the coming months. Officers are currently planning for the establishment of the team. This will include legislation, information sharing agreements and joint operating protocols. In the first instance, officers have met to establish interim cooperation agreements to support closer working between customs, enforcement, immigration, the police, home affairs and the travel notification service. The Financial Intelligence Unit will play a key role in supporting this new team.
Supplementary question, Mr Shimmins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I'd like to thank the Chief Minister for confirming that matters are progressing with the Manx Border Force and also that a single team is going to be set up to coordinate all the different relevant parts of the department. Can I ask which government department will have overall responsibility for the Manx Border Force?
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. At that moment in time, it hasn't been agreed. You know, these are the proposals. Obviously, when we know that the final concrete details, I will, of course, share it with all honourable members. For example, we have a three-phase plan. Phase 1 is closer working and joint operations. Phase 2 will be the co-location of the various teams, and I'm sure that's when it will go to the relevant department. We're dealing with a wide section of departments and we need to centralise it. I'm sure that's great news to the Honourable Member for Douglas East, Mr Roberts, your smaller, smarter government. Thank you.
Supplementary question, Mr Shimmins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I do welcome the Chief Minister's encouraging comments about how this is going to progress as a priority. It would be helpful, I think, to have two things. First of all, would you agree that actually it's really important we have one single area which has ultimate responsibility for this so that nothing falls between the cracks? And secondly, can we hear the timescale for this to happen? That would be really helpful to have that outlined. Thank you.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and yes, delighted to confirm with my honourable colleague, Member for Middle, that one home for the organisation has to be the sensible way forward. Phase 3, which I never finished because I'd gone off on a tangent with smaller, smarter government, we hope to establishment of a statutory basis of a joint team, which we hope will be in place by April 2021. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm just wondering what budget has been put forward or put aside for this. We've seen bad examples of centralisation and then we've had to make changes and put it back out into the appropriate areas. And can the Chief Minister advise, will they all be currently employed staff that will be part of this team? We won't be making a bigger, smarter government.
Chief Minister to reply.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I think what will be will be. We have to ensure that we do it right, first and foremost. I would hope that there's no additional costs and it's a transfer of various job salaries from one department to a centralised area. But let's not prejudge anything. We've said we're going to take this through the House and through Tynwald. It's honourable members' decisions, but you will be presented with the evidence and it's up to you to decide. So I don't want to say, no, we're not going to give it additional money. I genuinely do not know at this moment in time, and I think we all should retain an open mind on this topic.